So when coming up with coaching initiatives, you need to make sure that you hit all of the cultures, you know. So how do you socialize that idea? How do you build a workshop or a talk that's conducive to the conversation? How do you employ initiatives, operational frameworks that work across all of them? So you make sure that you have representatives and you listen to everyone and you kind of create this almost forum style conversation before you roll something out. And I do, and I still do enjoy laying the pipe work, the water and the electric before you launch something. And that is socializing it through the right channels, through the right people. So answering the question, it wasn't as hard as you think.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the same with everything else in the business world. It's building good, solid relationships. Like, you need to get people to trust you by the usual, sticking to your word, sticking to your values, you know, listening, adapting to feedback and all that.
It just takes time.
It takes time. It takes an
time.
investment. It takes an investment in the relationships you build. You know, even though I had the power to just say, you know, this is what I'm doing and we're doing it now. But it took time. I would much rather spend 3-4 weeks building something and socializing it, influencing people, getting their influence as well backwards, so hearing their feedback, change some. I've scrapped whole projects. 6 months of work, I've scrapped it over feedback.
All right.
6 months of building.
Feedback from the call center agents or representatives?
Mostly from the directors, but we had a particular initiative that very funny because if he would be listening right now, he'd be like, "You're right." Something that back then my managing director wanted really to put through. So I was the executive hand, right? So whatever my managing director thought, I was like, okay, I'll get it done. I was the fixer. That's what the chief of staff or a COO does, right? And I was like, okay, I'll get it done. But I disagree with it and I don't think it's going to work. And here's why. And I listed literally every single problem. I was like, you know, JFDI, just fucking do it, you know? I was like, okay, because he used to use that terminology. JFDI, done, just do it. I was like, okay. We did it, built the proof of concept, tested it out, it worked. I mean, it worked on paper. Brilliant. I actually forgot what it was. I just remembered the output. I actually forgot what I'm trying to remember, but I genuinely forgot because it's been like 3 years ago now. We went to socialize it the first time in front of the kind of the exco, like the directors of the whole entity, and it was just met with cynicism and neglect. So he ended up scrapping it, and I remember having a told you so conversation. I was like, if you just listened to me, we would have spent the last 6 weeks on something more fruitful. And he was like, you know what, you're right, and I will definitely listen to your advice going forward. But that again, that created that credibility, you know. It had to happen for me to get credibility. I was like, I know what I'm talking about.
Definitely.
Because, you know, again, because I spent most of my effort and time building relationship, understanding what matters to them, you know, what is their agenda, what do they need, what is their pain points, what are their headaches. And then when you go with an initiative that doesn't hit specific criteria boxes in that person's brain, and then you do it collectively across 7 different call centers, and you're not ticking those boxes, then you realize, okay.
So the same thing does work over different call centers, or you have to adjust because of cultural differences or geographic location?
So yes and yes. The answer to both questions are yes. But the thing is, so something that was really good in a conglomerate such as HSBC, you know, we're talking about north of 270,000 employees, you know. Something that was really solid was their value and beliefs were very much aligned across anywhere you would go. So in any country, in any way that you would work, the value system is completely, like, the values and responsibilities of each person are clearly defined across a set of metrics which are aligned with the business. So yes, culturally there are differences, but value-wise they're all aligned still.
Interesting.
So very interesting, very well constructed and very well thought out HR effort.
And this is very interesting to me. This is because there's where I come in, and I've been in the room delivering a workshop of CEOs and top management people. How did HSBC manage to align so many people across the same values?
I think it's a massive effort across the board. I think they invested heavily in leadership training. I think there's the element of repetition. So you're repeating the message.
Okay.
I mean, on average, a human being needs to hear it 7 times in anywhere. Like, that's a marketing rule, but also it works in the business world where you need to give that level of feedback or something. You need to mention it 7+ times for it to start planting its roots inside that person's or collective group's head, right? But then you need also the leader to drive it, You need to spot out the bad apples and provide the feedback or eliminate. You know, it's just the world of business.